I'm deep underground in one of Earth's harshest environments, and I can't tell you where I am or how I got here.
Out of respect for the cave and the area, we decided to film all the other talking parts outside. Part of what makes caving so secretive is in the service of conservation. Caves form over millions of years and can be easily damaged, even just by the oils on your skin. I met with Shiloh McCollum, a cave entomologist, to learn more about what makes this environment so unique.
A lot of the secrecy comes from trying to vet the person or educate the person about conservation ethics before, during, and after the caving process.
What kind of makes these environments so vulnerable?
A cave forms over millions of years, and those formations may not ever be able to be reproduced because the ground has shifted. So even in that secondary formation growth, it's very easy for humans to harm it. And then there's also breakage, because sometimes humans want to go see really cool passages that are really tight, and you accidentally break, let's say, a helictite, and that will never grow back ever again.
What are some of the things that people have to consider when they do it?
Human presence alters an ecosystem. We have lots of bacteria in our hair and our skin. When we walk into a cave, we're shedding our skin, we're shedding our hair, we're leaving behind bacteria. What we saw during COVID was a naive population that had never been exposed to that disease before, and it killed a lot of people the first round. Well, the same thing happens in a cave. If we introduce a disease by accident, it's affecting a new, naive population, and we can wipe out 90% of that population without even knowing it, particularly if we never studied the before and have nothing to compare when it's after. Decon procedures help limit cave populations to potential pathogens. So it's good practice because it'll still limit potential exposure to new organisms that can kill those endemic cave species.
It's extremely important to protect these fragile environments, as once they're gone for good, and you'll never have a cave just like it. But also going into a cave without proper experience can be extremely dangerous. Jim Lawton is the president of the Northern Colorado Grotto, and he tells me more about what caving and the community does to ensure safe pursuits.
If you had to just quickly fire off a list, what makes caving dangerous?
The most important thing you can bring into a cave with you is light. So the lack of light. It's dangerous. Water. I know some people who have been trapped underground for several days until the water receded. There's a cave up in near Steamboat Springs. Bad air. There's toxic gases, falling rock. The people you're with. I was caving in a dangerous cave last year. Get up near the top and there's loose rock. And one of these rocks dislodged from the ceiling, about the size of a basketball. And I'm sitting there trying to catch it, and it just slipped out of my fingers. And once that happened, I'm yelling, "Rock, rock!" And this basketball landed 2 feet away from my friend. And so every time I see my friend now, I'll tell him, "Have I ever told you how sorry I am? I dropped that rock on you." And he's like, "Well, yes, you have." I'm like, "Okay, you won't have to remind me again." So I keep on saying the same thing. It's kind of a joke, but it's not. It's not funny that I almost killed him. If you're ill prepared and you're gonna go alone, no. I want you to be safe about it. So a lot of the secrecy is about safety. The other thing is the ability to get lost. I like the caves that are mazy. So I started caving in Wind Cave, South Dakota, which is the single most intricate, complex, three-dimensional maze on the planet. In a 2-mile square surface area, but you go down and there's 150 miles of passage of cave in there. And so the thrill, the big thrill, is being Neil Armstrong, being somewhere where no one else has been, ever.
Now, because dangers are not meant to scare you away from the activity, caving can be extremely safe as long as you take the proper precautions and get involved in the right ways. Caving is an activity that brings out many people's greatest fears, and that is very understandable. But if you are interested in caving and you want to get involved in the appropriate ways, One of the first, easiest steps you can do is find your local grotto. Find a website and just figure out how to get involved with those people. Some grottos are more accepting than others, but overall, if you find people who know how to cave safely and appropriately, they are usually more than willing to teach you what they know, as caving needs to be passed down. If it stayed super secretive, the activity would die out and people would start going into unsafe caving. People are happy to teach you. You just need to show interest and take that first step. Now, if caving's not your style, you may be more interested in what's up next. Me and Kate go to a local farm that picks fresh produce for Brands Against Hunger.